See, live. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I'm alive. Okay, live. Hey, happy after Thanksgiving, guys. It's November 25th, 2023. Timestamp is at 1 o'clock. I've got a lot going on. A lot of stuff going on that I'm following with the courts and things, but I wanted to jump in on this debate on gun control, and also basically how it's going to affect us in our upcoming war or conflict or police action, whatever they want to call it nowadays. Um, but I wanted to drop some points and see what everybody thought about this. Right now, and I'm speaking as a veteran here. When I look back, or I look now at the individuals that we have, or we will designate to go to war, or all the above, then we're going to get our ass kicked, guys. Um, I'm sure that the American people will realize this, and the society will toughen up as more people come back, wounded, injured, killed. There's debate on this whether this gun control actions or these gun control um, measures actually help America prepare for defense of their nation. Mao Zedong said one time that China would never attack the United States of America. And they asked him the reason why. And he said, well, because there's a gun behind every blade of grass. That's been our MO. You don't mess with Americans. You just don't mess with Americans, period. Either in country or abroad. U.S. embassies are, um, they are actually United States territory inside these other countries. So we have things such as happens in Benghazi. We have had, right now, I think we've got 55. This number is changing every day, but we got 55 attacks on, military operations in Iraq and also Syria. And I think we've actually put two rounds, two rockets into Iran. So um, we believe that just by bombing a a country that we have actually ended the war, and that's not the case. We should have learned from the American Revolution that the United States has a definitive way of fighting wars, and it's come to us from experience that we've actually had in combat. Battles we've won, battles we've lost, some we tied, but it comes back to the main strategy is that we are not able or have not been proved to be able to stand up to a enemy one-on-one and actually, you know, just like the American Revolution, just set up there and just pop each other off. This was proven also in the American Revolution. This was proven in the Civil War, and the reason why that is because the fact is that we're not trained that way. We train in different environments. We train in different areas, and the best the best I guess policy that we have is over the period of time is being able to conquer guerrilla warfare. Now this was all come to fruition when we entered Vietnam. We had to learn to fight a war that we had gotten away from. We had to fight insurgents. We had to fight the enemy who was hit and run tactics. We had to fight an enemy that we didn't see and that we couldn't stop. We couldn't stop the supply train coming in from Laos. And all this goes back to history. But my point is this, is that we don't have people now that are or ready or understand the military mindset. We don't have individuals who are actually ready to take that step and defend the country. I read a poll: 75% of the 75% of millennials, of Gen Z, do not will not support a war. They just will not serve. Recruiting levels are down to the lowest level, even after World War One, and we had to beef up. We had to beef up our military personnel because we didn't have nobody to go fight. There is no way that we can defend our country on three fronts. We don't have the personnel. People say, well, we've got the best electronics, we got the best drones, we got all this or whatever. People are here to tell you wars are fought with boots on the ground. That's where you acquire territory and you keep it. That is the basis of war. So, with this mindset that we have a draft that's upcoming. I believe in Congress they're getting ready to vote on whether women should be drafted into the military. Personally, I don't think it's a good idea. Not over across the board. There are a lot of roles that women can play in combat. They can play. They're great at commo. They're great at they're great at medical personnel, about medical services. They're great in supply and these things that are bringing gear, beans, bullets, and band-aids to soldiers actually on the front line. And there's actually some that serve as helicopter pilots, as pilots. And those things are basically what we're talking about as when we're drafting females. However, the fact is that unfortunately, you don't get to pick your MOS. Unfortunately, these MOSs that we're actually talking about, that you have to have some kind of training. You have to actually have a degree to be a pilot or a helicopter pilot. You have to have a degree, some type of degree. And medical training, you have to have some kind of degree on that front, like the supply and mechanics. And I'm leaving out many MOSs that women are capable of doing. But as we learned in World War II, that the best place that the thing that helped us win the war was women who were actually willing to pick up a blowtorch, pick up a wrench, and go riveters and all that kind of stuff. So, with that being said, it is very, very fine line. Now, as far as a combat soldier, I disagree with them being in combat. I don't want to go to a firefight with a female. I don't want to go to a TIC with a female. I don't want to go. I don't want to go with their hostile IEDs or VBIDs or anything, or human-born IEDs. I don't want to go there with those individuals because the fact is that they don't have the mentality. And unfortunately for saying this, they'll do stupid stuff. They'll poke at cans, they'll trip over wire, because they haven't been trained, and they are not capable of being trained to a certain level. Because the fact is that the female gender that they've actually been up with. Now, many people say I'll take Gen X women over I will, and you know what? That's a good point. But at some point in time, Gen X women, they're not going to be capable. And here's the reason why I'm saying you're not capable. It's okay for you to go out and pass a test. Let's say, for example, a test, a physical fitness test, to evaluate your strength, your upper motor strength, your speed, your endurance, your stamina, and those things or whatever. But we have to, if we mention that, we have to also mention the fact is that you've got to be able to do that every day. Every day that is, you have to wake up and do that again. Every day you have to be in the proper mindset that, hey, I could be in a firefighter ticket there. Something blows up. And for some people, and not just female, but for females, and also Gen Z personnel right now that can't handle it. I don't think they realize you don't have a choice. This is not, this is not the price of the ride. You don't have a choice. You're going to be drafted, and when you're drafted, well, I'm just not going to do it. Guess what? I'm here to tell you. You could spend the entire 4 years that you're enlisted for in training until you get it right. And those 4 years are going to be the worst years of your life because they're going to train you. You're not going to be allowed to quit. You're not going to be allowed to fail. If you're overweight, guess what? You're a diet private. You eat salads and you eat maybe some bread and water. You will be forced to become a soldier or Marine or Air Force, Airman, Navy. I mean, forget everybody, but anyway, everybody gets the drift. Yeah. Hey, everybody who knows has been through boot camp will tell you there ain't no quitting. And believe it or not, there are many techniques that have been tried and true to actually make sure that you are actually physically fit, mentally, physically fit for you to go down range. Now, but like I said, this is not an option for you people. I remember whenever I hit 18, it was mandatory. It's still mandatory. A man that's 18 has to register for the draft. A lot of guys don't even know it register. So what does that mean? That means you're drafted. Okay, that means you'll be drafted into. And how can they do that? Well, they got your social security number, they got your tax returns, and we got social media. So it's like, they're going to find you. And whether you believe it or not, draftees, okay, ship out first. Okay, they go first. Because you're more trained individuals, they're going to actually be already operating in a job. And they are actually going to be contributing to the war, but because they have been in the military for so long, they actually have an MOS and that they're actually good at their MOS and they're good at what they do. So you're not going to take an individual, let's say, for example, who works in the top, who has been trained. He reads maps, he reads radar, he reads blue force tracker, he's reading all this, plus he's dealing with combat, plus he's dealing with a unit that's in a tick in the field. He's still worried about a convoy how far he is away, and it's like, but there are people who actually can train and actually can do that. It's called multitasking. And this is something that you're just not going to go. You go on the front lines, that's where you're going to be. That is where you're going to be. You're going to be in miserable conditions. They suck. In the Marine Corps, we called it the suck for a reason, because the fact is that everywhere we went, we got put in the shittiest place there was. And the Army will say different. They had the worst place. But, hey, it don't make no difference. It's bad, period. Okay, bad, period. That when you go, that it's not going to be the Hilton Hotel. You're going to have to sacrifice a lot. And this is why on Veterans Day, we honor these individuals who have been there, done that, and got the t-shirt. Now, the next train of thought is that if they don't want to go, then don't make them. Well, then who's going to let to fight the war? Who's going to let to fight the war? You're going to go to Vietnam veterans? Hell, Vietnam veterans are like me. They can't hardly even freaking walk. I'm in Afghanistan. Hell, I can barely walk. I don't see how these guys are still freaking moving around. That you could actually, if something happened that to where we had to defend ourselves on our home ground, veterans would play a key and vital role in that, because the fact is they've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and they actually know the mindset and actually can bring a lot to the party. Map reading. That's one of the biggest ones. That map reading. I can't tell you how many people get freaking lost. Navigation. Call for fire. Non-line medevacs. These things are automatically instilled into our military personnel. Non-line medevac, that means it's not a line that tells you that you're going to get somebody out of here. And it's detailed to the point to where you tell everybody where it's at, what you need to bring, how many people are down, blah, 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 blah. And you do it correctly over the phone or over the wire. So the helicopter pilot on the other end has all the information he needs. But I digress. For those to come out and say, I'm not going to go. For those to come out and say, it's no, it's not, no. I have to tell you something that what would have happened if everybody up until this point said no to every war or everything that we had that were provided a threat to our country? What if those people would have said no? What if they didn't suit up and show up? I'm sorry you were born in this particular time. There are people that were born in World War II, World War One, Korean War, Vietnam, Desert Storm, Iraqi freedom. All these people were actually luck of the draw. Enduring freedom. That's what I was a part of. But you didn't have a choice and you went in. Now, what does it say for a country that their youth who are coming up are not willing to actually make the same sacrifice that we did? What do we say for a country with LGBT, whatever, Q? What do we say to these individuals when you're seeing them protest for the Palestinians, and like, do you understand what you're asking for? Because I'll tell you, if you're part of these communities, you are not just going to die, you're going to die a slow, painful death, and you're going to be made an example of to all the people. We have seen, and I didn't witness, but I saw it, where how they treat lesbians. And they just set them in a chair up on top of the building and kicked them off. 5-6-story building, just kicked them off. All these atrocities people can't even fathom in their mind, because the fact is that people can't result to the word human beings. We can't result. Yes, you can. If you have to be dangerous. You have to be dangerous. You have to let the other person know you're dangerous, and you have to defend your own selves. And this is where I've got a problem. Another problem. It was always known in our unit, okay, we didn't really fight for no flags. We didn't fight for no country, no politicians, no set of, no, we didn't. Not when we were there. It was me and my buddies, and those, we all looked out after each other, because we couldn't explain what the government was doing. We couldn't explain what the politicians were doing. We couldn't explain what our country was doing. But all we had was us people right there. And everybody suited up and showed up, and they were straight when we were left outside the wire, and everybody was responsible for the other person. People say, well, it's a shame when you get killed in combat, and it is. I've had to deal with that, deal with those demons a lot. But the main reason that we have problems with, or one of the main reasons why we have problems with individuals that come back, is because the fact is that they will forever remember their buddy who went down. They will remember the exact time frame, and then you play the game woulda, shoulda, coulda. What if I'd done this? What if I'd done that? Could I have done this? Should I have done that? And that right there will keep going over and over in your mind. not only will you remember that incident, but you will start looking at other incidences differently. And that never goes away. As a veteran, I can tell you that most of my friends that I have right now will walk into, say, for example, a Walmart. When they walk through that door, in about 30 seconds to a minute, they have already identified potential threats. They have already identified their routes of ingress, egress, and also where's the safest point to go if something happens. They also will notice a group of people here, a group of people there. Doesn't seem like a month to you or whatever, but it gives you an idea of when something goes off and gunshots are fired or explosion, something blows up. That's where they go. Most people. Now there's the fog of war, and everybody has that period of time to where you're thinking, shit, is this really happening? And you only got limited amount of time to figure out, analyze the situation, understand the situation, and you act accordingly. You act according to whatever situation you're in. But there's always that fog of war. Sometimes it takes people longer to think of this than it does others. It's one of those things that people in the military are trained to overcome the fog of war as fast as possible. We don't have that. Now, for your individuals to say, I'm not going, I'm going to be an asshole, not going to do this, I'm going to be an asshole through boot camp. They're going to, y'all don't want me to go, and you're going to play every game in the book. I'm telling you, drill instructors, drill sergeants, they've seen this shit all their life. They will motivate you. And if they can't motivate you, then guess where you're going? Right where their people are needed. Where it's hot and heavy. And that's something you have to get over. Because you caused the situation. People say, well, you don't conform. No, you're conforming. No, I'm not conforming. I'm learning how to stay alive in combat. That's what my training is there for. That's what I need to find out, because the fact is I learned it all too well. When something bad happened, something blew up, people shooting at me, I decreased that fog of war to the shortest time possible so I could figure out what was going on to protect myself and my buddies. Whether you have gotten or not, politicians will send you off to war. They will send you to fight for them in their stead and their actual cronies and their sons and their daughters. They will send you. Politicians will make all kind of side moves and everything else just to get their kids from having to go serve. And your country, individuals who are actually in charge of this country are supposedly, or you believe that they're actually fighting the fight back home by voting, by making their voices heard, by looking and participating in their government, participating in anything that the government has to offer and ask questions. But your country won't even do that. One of the best lines I ever had was, I got back and I was going to go vote. I used to take voting for granted. I was like, I don't want. But then I kind of learned the big picture. You know what? These people who I'm going to vote for, they're going to send me a stupid war. They're going to send me somewhere stupid that I don't want to go. Imagine going to Djibouti, tip of freaking Africa. But that taught me the lesson that I needed to go vote and have my voice heard. When you look at the last election, only 50% of people voted, 54% of people voted. Now, these are the individuals that get on to YouTube and they get on Facebook and they get on TikTok and they get on all these Instagram, all these things or whatever. They have something to say. They have a lot to say. I shut them up real quick. Did you vote? Did you get up off your ass? Did you go down there and place your vote for the benefit of for how these issues affect you? Did you actually do that? Or did you just sit on your computer and find conspiracy theories and everything and don't even know which politicians you're voting for? Because I want to know who in the hell voted for this Talib girl. I want to know who in the hell voted for Cortez. I want to know these people. I want to go to the state and say, what the fuck were you thinking? Excuse my language. We have a lot of turmoil in the world right now in politics. And that's only going to spill over to our diplomatic missions that we have everywhere. We are vulnerable to attack. We are vulnerable, and many people, the Rainbow Bridge incident, everybody jumped to the conclusion that it's terrorist. We all know it's coming. That is their main purpose in life, to actually kill as many Americans as they can kill. That is called terrorism. We have domestic terror where the individual will go inside a school because it's a safe place and kill multiple people. That's terrorism. That is coddled down from a way of belief that believe that that's okay. You're going to get back at all these people because they treated you different. Okay, that's terrorism. Now, how's gun control going to affect all this? Well, I'm telling you this right now. First of all, you're going to have a group of individuals who can't shoot. Now, what I mean by that is they can go to the range and they can qualify in the services eventually. But a person who's actually has shot a weapon, who actually knows nomenclature of the weapon, knows exactly what to do, what it won't do, how many rounds you got. All these individuals are going to actually qualify on the first time. Now, what happens? Well, if I don't qualify for a weapon, I just can't go. Bullshit. You're gonna be on the range every day. You'll be on the range all day until you qualify. You'll be there for a week until you qualify. I have seen individuals who have spent the night on the range because they didn't qualify. Nothing but a damn bedroll. That was it. Now bedroll and a freaking whoopee. So these are the issues that gun control have, because the fact is that you're not training individuals to defend themselves. You've increased the fog of war because the fact is you've taken away ability of somebody's God-given right to defend themselves. It's God-given. You have a right to defend yourself. Now, you want to say, well, which kind of weapon I can have, which kind of weapon you can have, whatever. Okay. Why don't you think about this? What kind of weapons am I going up against? You got an AK-47. AK-47 is probably the best weapon ever invented. It doesn't jam. It's accurate. It's easy to carry. And it holds 30 rounds. This is what you're going up against. Don't you think you might want to learn how to shoot back? So, in closing, I'm gonna tell you this right now. We got sucker punched in Afghanistan. When 9/11, we got sucker punched. We got sucker punched bad. If people can't even realize, the fact is that they bombed some of our most important, some of our more important agencies and government that we need to operate. Do you think they just woke up today and just changed their mind? No. You look at it and you see it. Death to America. Allah Akbar. Death to America. Now you have groups that are actually joining them that are from America. They don't even know what the damn war is about. Do you know that they kill lesbians? Do you know they kill gays? Transvestites, you're the first one to go. Queer, you're the next one to go. They rape and pillage daily. Daily. And just because you've been raped by 2 or 3 people, they just keep raping you. Or then, as we saw in the Vietnam War, they will create atrocities to send a message They will murder kids. They will butcher kids. They will actually cut off their heads. They will do so as a means of psychological warfare. So I don't know. I don't know how to tell you people what's coming. I don't know. I don't know. I know many vets who are saying, God, man, we got ready to get our ass whooped. And why do we say that? We say that because we see the individuals who are getting ready to come up and take our place. And I'm not saying these kids are from the 50s and 60s. They actually kind of had their shit together before a man or a woman to stand up and say, I won't fight for my country. We're in a heap of trouble. We're in a heap of trouble. What if we run out of people to fight? Just saying. That's all I had to say on this. I had to get this video out because the fact is I needed to say it. Uh, I need to say it. There's a lot of things on my mind, but I had to say it and I had to go out there and put it out there. I don't really get that many views or whatever, but this is for me. I send these out because the fact is that it's just maybe as a warning. People better wake up. You better wake up. I'm out.